He's not able to make it. Imagine.
Imagine that.
Imagine that. Let's look out here. Connie Moran, what do you think about what's out here? One of the stories in the paper this morning has to do with putting ferries in on both sides of the bay. Is that going to work?
Well, it has been funded by the federal government, and we're analyzing sites right now with the Gulf Regional Planning Commission and MDOT, and also trying to locate some probable providers.
But will it work?
Well, it'll certainly be at least a relief. If they run 3 boats, they'll be able to run 150 cars in an hour's time. And actually, there's some longer-term plans, according to the charrette, for a ferry landing, perhaps right next to the railroad bridge on the Ocean Springs side and over here to Biloxi to run tourists back and forth from the casinos into Ocean Springs.
David, will it work?
I think I'd rather see it more pedestrian-oriented rather than vehicles. I think you could get more people on it and have a off-site parking destination for arrival and departures. I think it'd be a little more functional. I wouldn't want to see a automobile.
Realistically, for you and all of you who are impacted by these bridges, Mayor Longo, how long is it going to be, and how frustrating must life be for all of you right now?
Well, it's extremely frustrating knowing that if we get started tomorrow, it's going to be a long time. We've begun the demolition of the old bridge, but you know, we're a world apart over there, separated without that bridge, and it's very important that we get started on it as soon as possible.
So you really feel like you're not connected to the things that are going on over here?
Well, it is. It's a long trip. You know, a 15-minute drive to Pass Christian before, now it can be a 45-minute drive, 30 or 45-minute drive with traffic and the roads the way they are.
Mm-hmm. Billy Scully, do you feel like you're left out?
Somewhat. We missed the Bay Bridge, Bay St. Louis Pass Christian Bridge. Really probably more than we miss the Biloxi Ocean Springs. And like Mayor Longo said, it isolates you a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Connie Moran, you've taken a lot of heat because of your stance on the bridge. They wanted a 6-lane bridge, you didn't. Eventually, it's going to be a 6-lane bridge.
It's going to be a 10-lane bridge, 6 driving lanes and 4 breakdown lanes. We thought that we could do with 4 driving lanes and 2 breakdown lanes, especially since in Biloxi you come down to a crashing halt with 3 stoplights and going into 4-lane highway. Yeah. So we thought it was overkill. Our Chamber of Commerce passed a resolution against it, but at the end of the day, Federal Highway said MDOT could do as they like. However, we did get some concessions, and right now we just want the bridge to go forward, and we're sorry that MDOT had to repeatedly change the RFP, request for proposal, and hopefully we're looking the next 2 to 3 months we'll be able to award a contract. We're ready to get on with it.
David Solling, how's Biloxi feel about the resolution?
We're okay with the resolution. I think if you look at the research and the empirical data and traffic counts, and look at the growth history and anticipate the future growth, I think it needed to be the 3 lanes.
Richard Rose, is this going to work for D'Iberville?
I think either way works for D'Iberville. D'Iberville right now has had a tremendous amount of retail growth because of people being unable to get to the eastern part of Biloxi and to their peninsula. So we've gotten a tremendous amount of an impact without the bridge. And of course, once the bridge is rebuilt, our retail probably will suffer as well.
How about for Pascagoula and for Gaucher?
Well, you know, Pascagoula certainly draws some of the residents and citizens and tourists that come to Biloxi, Gulfport. Not having that bridge, being able to access our people and spend those dollars in Pascagoula certainly has an impact. So as soon as we can get that back up and running, I think it's going to be beneficial for all of our communities.
Mayor Pope, is this a realistic solution, you think?
I think so, but we're not adversely affected as some of the other cities have. Back during Camille, when Camille came through, we didn't have the interstate. It would have really created a problem for us then, but we've got the new Pascagoula Bridge. It's one of the most beautiful bridges in our state. We were so glad to have it, and but we just haven't been as adversely affected as the people of Biloxi or Gulfport of this particular area.
But do you all over there, Xavier Bishop, do you feel like you're cut off from the rest of the activity?
No, not at all. I think one of the things that the storm has done is to accentuate how we're all in this together, how we all tie in together, not just in terms of our needs, but geographically. I mean, we're talking about the Mississippi Gulf Coast, and that includes the cities from Waveland all the way east to Pascagoula and Moss Point and everything in between. So I'm very much interested in what goes on between those two destinations, you know, whether it relates to the bridge or the water or the roadways or the infrastructure.
In your town of Gulfport, they want to build I-310 up there in the air. You going to stand for that?
Well, the Transportation Department has agreed to take a second look at it, and we appreciate that.
Why don't you want it elevated? It's
well,
elevated out here.
Well,
and you don't want it elevated out here, do you?
You know, we don't want the area impacted under the interstate and kind of segment the city or downtown area. So we're hoping that the MDOT will take a second look at it, which they promised, and they're going to build the northern section, and maybe they'll reconsider and put it at grade with some crossings on it. And with the dynamics changing, with maybe the CSX railroad moving, with the port, with their improvements they're going to make, it may make a whole lot of difference to MDOT.
Mayor Moran would be happy to negotiate for you.
Yeah, we're going to hire to negotiate for us.
I wonder how you all of you mayors, how do you feel about the volunteers?
Outstanding.
Who would like to talk about them? Tommy?
It's made a world of difference. We would not be where we are today if it wasn't for the volunteers and the faith-based groups that we have in the city of Waveland and Hancock County and the coast. But in Waveland, we had one group that in the first month had gutted and done the mold abatement in almost 500 homes in the city,
and they just keep coming.
And they just keep coming.
Yeah. Randall Patterson, he's got to feel pretty good about that, right?
Well, I certainly, you know, we can't say enough thank yous to all the people that come in from out of town. I try to get around and thank them personally when I see them, but I've been more impressed about the attitude. Once they come, they so upbeat, and they kind of like the way the citizens of Biloxi and the whole Gulf Coast has responded to this thing. And we just can't give enough thanks to all the people that's down here helping us right now.
Brian Sanderson is